Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss how some people are losing their minds on social media that Keir Starmer has supposedly praised Thatcher. Only he hasn't. The people freaking out either didn't bother to find out what he actually said, which is very common, or are disingenuous liars pushing their own dishonest political agenda, which is also fairly common on social media. But it does raise the issue once again of why it's so important to teach critical thinking skills. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel. So first of all, I'm just going to warn you, a little bit later on, there will be some language unbecoming of a teacher. So if you're young or of a sensitive disposition, don't carry on watching. I had a very long day and the stupidity has got to me this weekend. So anyway, front cover of the Sunday Telegraph, big old letters, Starmer piles praise on Thatcher to woo right. Then The Guardian repeats the headline with its only slightly cut down version. Keir Starmer praises Margaret Thatcher in bid to woo Tory voters. Cue the left melting down. But then I tried asking some of them, well, what exactly were they upset about? Because I'd read the article. I don't just look at a headline and go, ooh, I read the article. Let me give you a general summary of what I found. So what are you upset at Starmer for? Well, he praised Thatcher. Did he? Yes, the headline says so. The headline in the right-wing billionaire-owned Telegraph, often known as the Tory graph. Yes. And you believed it. Yes. Okay. So what do they claim he praised her for? What? What are they saying he praised her for? Oh, I don't know. You don't know? No, I've not read the article, you see. So should we take a look at this praise, which was worth such prominent coverage in both the Tory graph, The Guardian, and those on Twitter losing their minds? We go to the article and this is what it says. Don't worry, it's not long. Margaret Thatcher sought to drag Britain out of its stupor by setting loose our natural entrepreneurialism. All right, Phil, what about the rest? What rest? That was it. That was it. It was part of a paragraph where he was describing how former Labour Prime Ministers had achieved change, then stuck in a reference about Thatcher at least trying to change things. It was, after all, an article written by Starmer to Telegraph readers. To not mention Thatcher would be, quite frankly, like going to Devon and not saying which way round the jam and cream should go. Woe betide you if you get it wrong, by the way. As a little aside, because I'm not planning on going to Devon for a while. I always get it wrong. It makes more sense the other way around. But how was this praise that Thatcher sought to change? He's not praising her for the damage she did. Indeed, on other occasions, he's said that she was wrong to do what she did. All he was doing was pointing out that a Prime Minister that wants to can deliver meaningful change, because what he's fighting against at the moment is this idea in the public that nothing much changes. Oh, it doesn't matter who we vote for, nothing much changes. He's saying bollocks. A Prime Minister that wants to bring change can bring change. And the change she brought was meaningful. He didn't say it was good change, did he? In fact, Keir Starmer did more than any Labour MP at the time to challenge Thatcher. He represented striking miners with legal cases. Where the NUM, the miners' union, couldn't cover the cost, he did it pro bono, for free. What did Labour MPs do? Oh, they went there. Well done, well done. They had their photos taken. Then they went home to their nice warm houses and nice slap-up dinners and made themselves as unelectable as possible in the following election in order to let Thatcher carry on. You know, I've had plenty to say on this on Twitter today, prompting numerous people to consider what he actually said. And I've not come across a single person that thinks that the actual words, especially in context, were a problem at all. The nearest thing to criticism to come from anyone, once they realised what he actually said, was to say, oh, well, he was silly to even mention her, really, because of the upset it might cause others. But this would be infantile. Like, you can't use the word Thatcher? Really? Let me go full Yorkshire on this one, just to be really clear. Let us imagine the profile of someone who reads the real lines, right? Who hates Thatcher so much that they're going to go from intending to vote Labour to not voting Labour because Keir Starmer mentioned Thatcher, right? Just mentioned her. Never mind that that's all he did mention her, that he said nothing praiseworthy. It was a neutral mention. Never mind that on other occasions he has said, and I quote, although I thought she was wrong, she said what she meant and meant what she said. This person, right, will take their vote from Labour because the man who stuck up for striking minors in a meaningful way, not just a slap on the back, mentioned her in an article. They will take that vote away, leaving the actual party of Thatcher in charge of the country. Let's be honest. Let's picture the sort of person that fits that profile. Pardon my French, but they're a bit of a fucking idiot, aren't they? And there's no strategic point in even trying to chase that vote. If you didn't lose it over this article, you'd have lost it over something equally stupid. Keir Starmer wrote an article to appeal to Telegraph readers. He didn't pretend he was something he wasn't. He didn't pretend to support something he didn't. He's not saying one thing to one group of voters and the opposite to another. He's just pushing the few of many policies that will appeal to that particular audience. The article, the whole article, if you read it, and I understand it's not easy because Telegraph behind a paywall, but the article was about how the Tories have trashed the country, how he aims to get it back on its feet. He mentioned Thatcher in this article in one line, in neutral terms. The Telegraph made a big deal of it because they knew how stupid people are. They knew that they just put it in the article, in the headline, and everyone will believe it. You know, they can't stop Starmer writing opinion pieces. If he wants to write to the Telegraph readers, he will do so. Otherwise, they're not a free press, are they? So they sort of have to agree to publish his articles. But he has no control over the headline or the way they present it. The editors do that, needing no consent from him. But Starmer has a chance to win over more voters writing the article than he can possibly lose from a few scattered fuckwits on Twitter who can't even look at a Tory paper headline and think, is this really honest? Because like I say, people that lacking in critical thinking skills will fall for whatever the Telegraph tells them anyway. They could have said he praised Thatcher without him even mentioning her if they wanted. They could just say, oh yeah, he did actually mention her by name, but we can read between the lines. When he was talking about Clement Attlee, that was clearly using it as an allegory about Thatcher. But this is why we need to teach critical thinking. You see a headline, read the article. Don't jump to conclusions, read the article. When you do read the article, filter out fact from opinion from subjection. And you see a headline or a soundbite that appeals to your bias. It's one that you naturally go, oh, well, I agree with that. Be even more critical. If you read a headline and go, I agree with that, that should send alarm bells ringing in your head. Cannot tell you how weird it is to see people who say they hate the Tories believing without question what a Tory paper tells them. It should be natural to mistrust headlines that don't quite sound right. In fact, people without critical thinking skills, generally speaking, can look at something that they don't think sounds right and go, oh, I want to make sure about this. I get it all the time. I'll say a thing. I'll even post sources. Oh, I want more sources than that. I don't believe it. It doesn't fit my worldview. But you should be more mindful of headlines that do chime with your worldview. Oh, Starmer praised Thatcher. Oh, yeah, that's the sort of thing you should do. No, be extra vigilant. Because the misinformation you're most vulnerable to is that which fits your prejudices. And we've all got them. To think that you're too clever to fall for things makes you as vulnerable as any village idiot. This is why we should be teaching these skills. Without it, we end up with what I've seen today. A load of people who say they don't like Tory governments, insisting they're going to use their vote in a way which maximises the chances of a Tory government. The lack of critical thinking makes us a nation of fools. Like, people used to think we were clever because we managed to run the world with some bagpipes, a few flags and a lot of nerve. But a nation is only as good as the educational standards of its citizens. Now, I'm not saying ours are poor as such, but they could and should be a lot better. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. I hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.